Oh, hey, oh, what's happening? Oh, hey, it's 2021. We made it. Yay. Oh, fuck 2020. Fuck 2020, man. Fuck that year. Oh, okay. You are listening to Radio Rants with Roman. I am your host, Roman. Oh, boy. Happy New Year, everybody. Do dooby 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 doo doo dooby dooby doo. We did it. We did it. We made it out of 2020. Well, not all of us made it. 1.83 million people have died worldwide from coronavirus. They didn't make it out. But if you're listening to this, you made it. So, congratulations. Yeah, it's really funny looking back on 2020, right? Because so many shitty things happened. Can you believe that President Trump was impeached in 2020? It's wild. Seems like a lifetime ago, you know? And, I guess it was tough on some, but on others, it was basically just like a year full of, complaining. Seems like that was the worst part of 2020, just listening to everyone complain. Myself included. Who doesn't like to, complain? I don't like hearing everyone else complain. I like doing it myself, It's like taking a shit. It should be like a very personal thing. But, really though, 2020, it was not all that bad. For instance, there was only 10 school shootings in 2020, only 10, as opposed to 49 school shootings in 2019. So look at that. We're making progress in some areas, losing ground in others. But maybe school shooting will become a thing in 2021 though. Who knows? You never know what to expect. I wonder. Oh, you know what's crazy? I bet a kid's gonna kill himself over like Zoom at some point. What if that becomes like the new version of school shootings? Just kids like offing themselves in front of their classmates. It's it's like a less selfish thing to do than a school shooting. I feel like. So for all of you potential school shooters out there, don't shoot up a school. All right, do the right thing. So here's to cutting the 10 school shootings down to at least half in 2021. I'm realistic. I think we can still do better, but I'm not gonna bullshit you and say that there'll be zero next year because you just don't know with these things. So let's go for 5, okay? Can we do that, gang? Can we go for 5? All right. I was thinking the other day that guys should feel comfortable. Yeah. For all you gentlemen listeners out there, have you ever been about to get hot and heavy with a lady friend, and you're in the mood, you're both feeling it, and then she says to you, "Hold on a second, I'm on my period," and you're just like, "Oh, that's cool, that's cool." But in the back of your head, you're like, "Okay, well, I guess I'm doing laundry after this." But so like women, the point I'm trying to make is women should not feel ashamed about saying that they're on their periods, like before sex. But on the flip side, I feel like as a guy, we should feel comfortable before sex to be like, "Hey, listen, I really like you, but I have to take a shit before we do this, or else I won't be able to perform at 100%, And the girl will be thinking, "Oh, that's fine," but in her head, she'll be thinking, "I don't want to suck this dude's dick if he has to take a shit," you know? That's probably what happens, I would think. I wouldn't want to suck my own dick. You ever get that smell sometimes? You know what I'm talking about, that smell after a long day's work. Oh, I should get Manscaped to sponsor me. Nah, I shouldn't. You don't want to hear any of that. Do dooby 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 doo. You know how I've had this podcast. This is episode 11, by the way, and each week I'm getting more listeners. It's very exciting times. I'm now up to 500,000 listeners each episode. It's pretty cool. So naturally, I've been getting a lot of feedback from all you beautiful listeners out there, and it's not always positive. The other day, someone was very angry at me, and they said this podcast is transphobic. You know, and it took me a second to kind of process that. 'Cause I was like, wait, are you calling me transphobic? Are you saying that I'm transphobic? And then I started thinking about trans people in my head, right? And like, I started thinking about what the word transphobic means, and a phobia is a fear. And I was like, you know what? Like, I wouldn't want to wake up in the middle of the night and see like a tranny standing in my bedroom. Like, that would be scary. So yes, in a way, I guess I am transphobic. So I just wanted to address that because I can think of scenarios where I would be scared to see a tranny. You know? I don't know if you guys have noticed this. So for my job, I'm on the road a lot. I'm doing a lot of driving. So I see things. And one thing I've noticed is that there's a lot more delivery drivers out there. Yeah, the holidays just ended. And there's a lot more that's like the busiest time of year for Amazon and FedEx and the post office. So naturally, there's just like a larger fleet of trucks on the road. And then with this whole made up China virus, everyone's just kind of ordering takeout and like being like, leave it at the door. And so there's a lot of delivery drivers out now. People don't want to go out in public and get their food. So there's just a lot of people driving around right now. And I have to say, they all drive like shit. All of them, right? With the post office, you kind of expect it. They get a pass. So male men get a pass, and female men, they also get a pass. And because first of all, they probably have let's just call it what it is. They probably have the shittiest of all of those delivery jobs, just because the whole rain or shine thing. They're basically always working and walking around. But they also have those little trucks with the steering wheels on the right side of the car as opposed to the left. So we give them a pass because we're like, all right, you're driving that fucking thing around. You're allowed to kind of drive like an asshole. And these Amazon drivers, they're just they park their car. They'll just fucking like double park, block the goddamn streets, and put their blinkers on. So when I drive by, I always just stare them down. I would just give them glares. Like, what are you doing? Just to let them know that I disapprove of how they're driving. And then you got the bottom feeders, the fucking Grubhub whoozy whaties, those app people. I believe it's called the gig economy. They don't know what the fuck they're doing half the time. It's like, where'd you learn how to drive? Fucking who taught you how to drive? Ray Charles, right? As a joke go, you know what I'm talking about. Just roll with it, baby. So these guys they just park their car like there's one guy parked on like a corner of a busy road. It's like, dude, you're gonna get hit by a fucking car. Someone's gonna whip around the turn, and they're gonna hit you, and it's gonna kind of be your fault. What the fuck are you doing? So, I know a lot of you guys listen to this podcast while you drive. That's what my demographics research team has told me. So just don't drive so shitty out there, okay? It's really pissing me off. I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm actually a very good driver. And, I could have driven race cars if I wanted to. I didn't. I was like, nah, I don't feel like driving race cars. Who wants to do that? Did you guys get any good gifts this year for Christmas? I know it was like a week ago. I got a bunch of socks. It was the best gift ever. I'm wearing them right now. Very, very comfortable. I highly recommend just buying people socks as like birthday or Christmas or anniversary gifts. Just like a pack of them, you know? The real comfy, warm ones. Just like, here you go. I didn't wrap it because they're socks. So enjoy. You know, people will probably give you a dirty look at first, and then they'll take the socks home and they'll be like, well, let me just try these on. And they'll be like, oh, wow, this is very nice. This is very nice. So I highly recommend socks as a gift. One of the things that I've realized about gift giving is don't you kind of hate like when people ask you what you want for Christmas sometimes and you're just like, I don't know. Don't make me think. That requires a level of brain power I'm not willing to use right now. You know, it becomes like a chore to pick out what you're getting as a fucking Christmas gift. And I think the other part about like why I hate receiving gifts is because I hate giving gifts, you know? It's just like, oh great, I'm getting a gift, so now you're gonna expect one? Okay, let me get a gift. Let's just do this. Like, can we just cancel gifts? Hashtag cancel gifts, right? You think cancel is gonna be a thing in 2021? Well, here we are. We're talking about it, so let's move on to something else. Something a little less dumb. Oh, speaking of bad drivers, if I could just bring it back a little bit. So I was driving the other day, and this guy cuts me off. This Asian guy just cuts me off, right? So I'm like, what the fuck? I had to like slam on the brakes real quick, and we come up to a red light, and he gets in the left lane to make a left turn. I get up next to him, right, and I just glare over at him. I just look at him, and just like I mouth like, what the fuck, you know? And this Asian guy, he just kind of like stared back at me with squinty eyes. You know how sometimes people they'll ask you to donate money, and you always feel awkward saying no. You're like, no, sorry, I don't care about kids with cancer. I don't want to give my money. Or like, no, I already have a pet dog, so he already cost me a lot of money, so no, I will not donate to your kill shelter. Whoever came up with that excuse about, or like, I guess it's a fact. You can use it as one if you want. Someone will be like, oh, no, I'm not donating money to the Red Cross because I don't know where that money goes. You know, they're like, by the time it gets divided up, the percentage that goes to actual charity is very minimal. So it's essentially a business. They're stealing money and they're paying no taxes on it, and you're giving them your money. You know, they're like, so I'm not gonna donate to an organization. Whoever came up with that is brilliant. That's so genius. That's the best excuse for if you don't want to donate money. You should be like, no, sorry, I don't know what you're gonna do with my money, so I'm keeping it. Use it. Use it, folks. It's all yours. Now, if we could just talk about a dark history in our nation's past. White people were guilty of being slave owners back in the early history of the United States, dating all the way back, you know, years. So, finally, slavery was made illegal, in the United States at least. Slavery is still ongoing in the world today. You can actually donate money to organizations that help to fight illegal slave trades across the globe. So, you can donate your money to them or keep it. And but anyway, where was I going with that? Yeah, so white people, you know, they owned slaves, and then because it's in their it's in white people's demonic nature to just want to own things, you know. That's why white people own so many pets. So many dogs are owned because white people just they need ownership over something, you know, and they just can't help themselves. You know what the number one breed of dog that is owned in the United States is? Go ahead, guess. Black Lab. They just couldn't help themselves. Disgusting. My dog is black, but, you know, I got him from a shelter. So, I did a good deed, you know? Anyway, that bit kind of fell flat on its face. Wouldn't you say? That's just about gonna do it. So, we made it. We made it to 2021, everybody. We did it together. And, just remember what older people say, and I'm sure if you're of a certain age, you've had these same thoughts, but when people talk about the past, they always talk about how shitty it was, right? You know, how things are better now. They always talk about the past in a very negative way. No one does that. So, if you're expecting 2021 to be any good, just think of that. Anyway, see you next week. Follow me on Twitter, or don't.